Jubilation in Kano as Governor Yusuf wins at Supreme Court. Zamfara, Bauchi, Plateau governors beat the odds at Supreme Court, affirms the victories. Nasarawa State government vows to rescue abducted day-old baby. And on the international scene, South Africa's Zuma behind backlash against Ramaphosa ANC. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thank you for joining us. And now the details. The Supreme Court has reversed the sack of Yusuf as Kano governor. Justice John Okoro, who read the lead judgment, said the Court of Appeal was wronged in affirming the decision of the tribunal, which held that Yusuf did not win the majority of lawful votes cast at the governorship election. In determining the case, the Apex Court raised two issues: whether the lower court was right in deducting the 165,616 votes of the governor. Justice Okoro held that the tribunal was wrong in deducting the votes accrued to the governor. Reacting to the judgment, Governor Yusuf expressed his happiness over the Apex Court ruling that affirmed him as governor, saying the contentious 165,616 ballot papers have been claimed to have emanated from the Independent National Electoral Commission, the INEC. Trust TV captured the jubilation that welcomed the Supreme Court's ruling in favor of the Governor Yusuf in Kano. Take a look. The Supreme Court, in a unanimous decision by a 5-member panel of justices, have overturned the judgment of the Court of Appeal in Abuja, which initially declared Governor Dauda Lawal's election inconclusive. The lead judgment, delivered by Justice Emmanuel Agim, deemed the appellate court's decision as perverse and consequently annulled the order for a rerun. Justice Agim emphasized that the All Progressive Congress candidate, Bello Matawalle, failed to substantiate his claim that the election results in 3 specific local government areas, Benin Magaji, Bukuyum, and Maradun, were inaccurately declared in favor of Governor Lawal. The Apex Court reiterated its stance that any party disputing election results must provide accurate and verifiable evidence. As a result, Governor Lawal's victory has been affirmed, marking a significant development in Zamfara's gubernatorial contest. In the same vein, the Supreme Court has overturned the sack of Caleb Mutfwang, reaffirming him as the governor of Plateau State. The court's 5-member panel, led by Justice Emmanuel Agim, declared the Court of Appeal's decision as perverse, citing that the primary election issue leading to Mutfwang's removal was beyond the lower court's jurisdiction. Justice Agim emphasized that the validity of nomination and sponsorship is not sufficient grounds to void an election, stating that the Court of Appeal lacked jurisdiction to entertain the matter. The Apex Court clarified that the petitioners, not being members of the People Democratic Party, the PDP, lacked the standing to challenge the party's primary election. Additionally, the Supreme Court held that the Plateau State High Court's order did not affect the National Executive Committee, the NEC, and evidence demonstrated that the PDP had conducted a fresh primary in compliance with the court's directive. Presiding Justice John Okoro expressed concern over wrongful judgments, lamenting the impact on individuals, including legislators who were wrongly sacked by the appellate court. Justice Helen Ogunwumichu criticized the Court of Appeal for delving into nomination and sponsorship issues, contrary to previous apex court's decision. Caleb Mutwang of the PDP had initially won the governorship election in Plateau State, but the Court of Appeal overturned his victory on November 19, 2023. Also, the Supreme Court affirmed the election of Bala Mohammed of the People's Democratic Party as the governor of Bauchi State. The Apex Court affirmed the decision of the Court of Appeal and dismissed the appeal by Sadiq Abubakar of the All Progressive Congress for lacking merit. The appellate court had in November affirmed the victory of Governor Bala Mohammed in the March 18th governorship election. This followed earlier judgment by the tribunal upholding Mohammed's victory. In the Court of Appeal judgment, the panel of 3 justices were unanimous, awarding no cost as the court ruled that each party to the matter should bear their costs. The presiding judge, Justice Chidi Nwaoma Uwa, read the judgment in the order of the appellant's plea before the appeal court. On plea number 1, the appellant had pleaded that the election be nullified because the forms and booklets used in the election were not properly filed. The court ruled that the appellant failed to prove this allegation with the needed evidence. Also, the Supreme Court has affirmed the election of Babajide Sanwo-Olu of the All Progressive Congress as the governor of Lagos State. The 5-member panel, in a unanimous judgment delivered by Justices Lawal Garba and Adamu Jauro, affirmed the declaration of the APC's candidate as winner of the March 18, 2023 governorship election after dismissing 2 separate appeals challenging his victory. Badegbo Rhodes Vivor of the Labour Party, who came second, and Abdulaziz Adediran, popularly known as Jando, of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, who came third, had challenged the election of Sanwo-Olu on grounds of alleged irregularities, malpractices, non-compliance, as well as non-qualification. They had specifically argued that the deputy governor who acquired citizenship of the United States of America is not qualified to contest the elective position, and as such, his nomination as deputy governor was unlawfully null and void. They also argued that his alleged unlawful nomination affects the qualification of Sanwo-Olu, hence the court should nullify their participation in the governorship election. In Nasarawa State, the state's government has vowed to secure the safe return of a stolen newborn from Dalhatu Arab Specialist Hospital in Lafia, the Nasarawa State capital. Deputy Governor Dr. Emmanuel Akabe, during his visit to the baby's mother, expressed his worries and the government's commitment to resolving the incident. Abubakar Abdullahi gives us details on this report as filed from our studio.
2 days ago, a newborn was stolen at Al-Hatta Araf Specialist Hospital, Lafayette, shortly after a successful cesarean section. Deputy Governor Dr. Emmanuel Akabe visited the hospital to sympathize with the mother and disclosed that security agencies are actively investigating the disappearance of the baby.
But like I mentioned earlier, I've been adequately briefed and the security agencies are doing their work. Here the police have come in, DSS and all of them are involved in unraveling things. And by the grace of God, a few arrests have been made here and there, a few detentions here and there, a few questioning here and there. I hope that at the end of the day, from questioning and responses, we're able to get to the root of it and get our baby back.
The Deputy Governor also assured that the hospital had implemented security measures and handed over the baby to the family before the incident occurred. He urged the public to report any suspicious activities to the appropriate authorities for prompt action. In connection to the incident, the state police has arrested 3 individuals with several others currently under questioning.
The Federal Capital Territory FCT Minister Nyesom Wike has expressed dissatisfaction with the progress of work at the Abuja Metro Rail. Wike stated this during an on-site visit to the project. Habiba Tajayi has more.
Wike, who inspected the station 4 months ago and issued an 8-month completion ultimatum, expressed disappointment at the lack of improvement during his recent train journey from Abuja Metro Way to Kubwaba 1 and 2.
I cannot be happy if in May this year we are not able to operate this metro line. It will be very disastrous for me. And then, even all the stations, from what I've seen, designs are very poor. Who may have approved this design is not fair to Nigerians. I've told CCCC that this kind of design is not even acceptable in their own country. And if I had known before now, I would not have promised Mr. President that we'll be ready. But be it as it may, we still have to work around the clock to see that we achieve our results. And I also directed that every of the stations must be cleaned. All the things that are not there must be provided.
The FCT minister highlighted the absence of work advancements and addressed concerns with material vandalism by the Chinese contractor, which he pledged to investigate.
I discovered that there are issues of security lapses. And I remember when I came for the first time after our inauguration, I did say that they have to work on the issue of security by putting on the fence around the metro station in order to ward off criminals. Unfortunately, that has not been done. To my surprise, it was discovered that the contract was not even awarded to CCECC. It's a different contract awarded by the FCT. And this is my first time of hearing that. And we're going to take it up immediately to see that that is put in place.
Despite Wike's scrutiny, it appears that the project may not be ready for the president's commissioning on May 29 as earlier envisaged. Habibat Ajayi, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming up, Jalingo residents commend availability of water. This and more after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Update on Trust TV. Here's a recap of our top stories. We brought you jubilation in Kano as Governor Abba Kabir wins at Supreme Court. Zamfara, Bauchi, Plateau governors beat the odd as Supreme Court affirm victories. Now moving on to more stories. Femi Adesina, the special advisor on media and publicity to the immediate past President Muhammadu Buhari, along with a coalition of scholars and authors, is gearing up to unveil 2 compendiums focusing on the legacies and persona of the former President Muhammadu Buhari. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports that during a news conference preceding the upcoming event, the authors emphasized their goal to present accurate and unbiased narrative about the former #1 citizen. Take a look.
For Femi Adesina, who served as senior special advisor to President Buhari for the entirety of his 8-year stewardship, it is time to publicly showcase salient qualities and top decisions of his principal in response to what he termed as skewed narratives.
That book is not about the hardware of governance. Economic policy, monetary policy, foreign policy, this and that and that. No, it's not about the hardware of governance. Rather, it's about the software of governance and the man who headed that government. What propelled him to take certain decisions he took. When he took some decision and I asked him, Mr. President, why did you do it this way and not this way? He will explain to me.
One of the authors who speak on behalf of the group says they find it imperative to assess the former president without primordial sentiments and dispel some widely held but potentially biased narratives.
As scholars, you have to learn to approach issues dispassionately. It doesn't matter whether you like the person or not. Deal with the facts. If you are working on telecommunications or you are working on public infrastructure, deal with the facts as they are. If you are working on security, say in the Northeast, deal with the facts as they are. Go beyond street sentiments, right? And go beyond public sentiments. And that is the role of an intellectual in society.
They state that their conviction in the untainted leadership and performance credentials of Buhari compelled them to engage in intellectual documentation for posterity. The compendiums are slated to be launched in Abuja under the chairmanship of former military head of state General Yakubu Gowon and is expected to be attended by former President Goodluck Jonathan among other dignitaries. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Residents of Jalingo, the Taraba state capital, have expressed satisfaction with the availability of water across the metropolis. To this end, they have called on youths to avoid vandalizing the water pipes in order to ensure that the challenges associated with the water supply are drastically reduced. The report.
Taraba State is one of the states that is surrounded by rivers and dams. Despite the seeming advantage, water supply in the state capital has over the years been a challenge. However, residents of Jalingo are saying the situation is gradually changing for good as supply has become almost consistent. Some residents who told Trust TV that supply has become as frequent as 4 times in a week appealed to users to ensure efficient management to avoid incurring extra charges associated with wasting water.
It's for our own benefit. So I can't see the reason why some people will be vandalizing the pipeline actually, unless maybe people want to fetch the water illegally.
I've appreciated the government entirely in part of water and educational processing, and what we are crying on it is only security in our area. But water and fire and electrification supply, we don't have that problem much.
My name is Sani Seidu. Apart from this tap that is for outsiders, we also have another one inside for others. We are grateful to the state government for addressing the water supply needs of the people. I'm calling on the people, especially those that have no meter in their houses, to take advantage of the opportunity to use as much as they can, while those with meters should avoid wastage in order not to incur huge costs.
Following the regular supply of water, the state government is appealing for prompt payment of bills to ensure that the supply is sustained.
There's one challenge that we have. The other one is the issue of water theft. Some people, for reasons best known to them, they try to steal our water. That is illegally, they do illegal connections and then try to tap water from our service lines without following the proper channels. We call them water theft. Some people will break the pipe deliberately so that water can gush out and they can fetch from it. You know, and then other challenges are the lack of payment even for the service that we give to the people. Sometimes people find it difficult to pay us for the service we render to them. These are challenges that we have.
The Tawasco DG said government is putting modalities in place to ensure that supply gets to all parts of the state.
We'll take a quick break. The news will return shortly. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now moving on to the international news. South Africa's ex-president Jacob Zuma joined forces with another graft-tainted former top ruling party official on Friday, announcing a political alliance ahead of elections in a blow to the embattled African National Congress. Zuma, 81, and Ace Magashule, a close ally and former ANC Secretary General, said that they should soon unveil the plans for a joint political future. The pair, who both lost their jobs over corruption allegations, have recently formed separate parties in the run-up to general elections due to the take place between May and August this year. Magashule's party, the African Congress for Transformation, in a statement said the Magashule-Zuma United Front will mark a departure from traditional politics towards a more inclusive, people-centric approach. The move could further dilute the support for the ANC, which is struggling in the polls and could see its share of the votes drop below 50% for the first time since the advent of democracy in 1994. Last month, Zuma drove a new split in the ANC, vowing to campaign and vote for the radical new Umkhonto we Sizwe, the MK party, or Spare of the Nation, named after the ANC's old military wing. The former head of state, who has never hidden his bitterness at the way that he was pushed out of office, pointedly told a press conference that it would be a betrayal to campaign for the ANC under his successor, President Cyril Ramaphosa. And finally, in sport, Paul Onuachu will replace the Real Sociedad forward, that is Sadiq Umar, who has been ruled out of the 2023 African Cup of Nations to be held in Cote d'Ivoire. Umar reportedly suffered a knee injury in Nigeria's 2-0 loss to Guinea in a friendly game in Abu Dhabi on Monday. He now joins the likes of Leicester City's midfielder Wilfred Ndidi and Bayern Leverkusen's Victor Boniface on the injury list. Onuachu had been named in the Super Eagles' provisional 40-man squad for the AFCON, but was dropped for the final 23-man list by Jose Pasiero. Omar is expected to return to Spain for treatment. Pasiero's men will kick-start their campaign against Equatorial Guinea in their Group A opening game on Sunday, January 14th. And with that, we wrap up News Update on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms and join our YouTube live stream for more news programs and documentaries. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thanks for watching.